Mark, thank you so much for speaking to NAMPA News. The POWAG workshop just came to an end here in Divundu. Short and brief, the purpose of this workshop.
The purpose of the workshop, it's a very broad spectrum purpose. We were trying to get together a group of people from various disciplines, from various government sections or sections of government, and draw their attention to the fact that there is a poisoning problem in Namibia that is primarily at the moment rearing its head among wildlife poisoning situations, but is very close to becoming a human problem in rural people as well as the rest of the population. We have a river system running through this northern area of Namibia, around which poisoning situations are happening, and we are completely unaware of it, and unaware of the cause, and unaware of what we can do about it. So we got a group together of mixed disciplines, which included the police, NDF, Ministry of Agriculture, and then of course a few of the NGOs that are particularly concerned. And then also we try to involve as many of our neighbouring countries as possible, but not too much from the neighbouring countries. We wanted as representatives from Botswana, Zambia, Angola, Zimbabwe, and South Africa, as well as Namibia. We managed to draw a huge following from Botswana. We weren't able to get Botswana or Zambian or Angola representatives, although we tried. But the idea is to have a follow-up workshop where we will expand to that, because this issue is not just a Namibian issue. It is a trans-boundary issue. So we were particularly eager to get people like the police, like NDF, which previously have never been involved in poaching situations, poisoning situations, that were completely unaware that this thing was actually happening and within their mandate. Because it's, as I said earlier, it's very close to becoming a human situation where you will get people starting to die from picking up poisoned meat or coming across a poisoned elephant carcass that's meant for vultures, and then a nomadic group of Bushmen or other Caprivians or Botswana people wandering around and picking that poisoned carcass up before the vultures do. So that was basically the kind of aim and the sort of structure of the workshop. There were a variety of concerns. There was a lot of indecisiveness about legislation. There was a lot of indecision about what to do about legislation, whether current legislation is valid, whether it's conflicting or not. Those kind of things needed to be ironed out. We also came together as far as, the whole objective of the workshop was eventually to have some results, some measures to be put in place, where we could then start. We are never going to solve this problem entirely. We are never going to do without poisons. We will always have poisons in our lives. But we're trying to put measures in place where we can control the use of poisons and stop the misuse of poisons. And that includes legislation and control and monitoring. At the moment nobody knows how poisons come in, what poisons they are. Are they brought in legally or illegally? One of the things is strychnine, for instance, is indecisiveness about whether it is illegal or legal, whether you can use it on a problem animal or whether you can't, and all those kind of things have now come into play. And now we've got the people together under one roof discussing it, whereas before it was an indecisive sort of in the air. One person said that, the other person said that. Those things are being ironed out now. They are being given attention for the first time. And now we're involving the law enforcement officers, the police, the Ministry of Agriculture, law enforcement, the NDF, or law enforcement, the MET, which are law enforcement. We're involving them in that kind of thing.
Mark, by listening to you, it seems to me all the countries involved, they've got one common problem: the illegal use of poison. And just a little bit about the ripple effect of using illegal poisons.
Well, it's two things here. Is it an illegal poison or the illegal use of a poison? You can get a legal poison that is illegally used. And then again, you can get an illegal poison that is banned in other countries and that has found its way into the market. So those are two different concepts. Those are two different actual questions. And there's a lot of both going on here that we don't know about, that we're not aware of, and the law enforcement officers are unaware of. They don't know what it is about it. Now, they've come away a bit more confident. They've come about, a bit more confident. So now they will be more aware of it in their normal patrols, in their normal, law enforcement activities and so on and so forth.
So there was a kind of a lack also for understanding for the law enforcement officials about the dangers, perhaps.
Absolutely, totally. In particularly the police, they had no idea that this was actually the problem it is. It goes around. The poisons, you shouldn't use them. But it's never been as serious. They have now been made aware of the potential seriousness of it, and how it can eventually, and we are very close to it becoming a human problem. At the moment, it's a wildlife problem. It's being used on wildlife. But we are finding more and more issues pitching up, especially on this Okavango River system, where poison is being massively used on not just the Okavango system, but the Kwando River and the Zambezi in aerial spraying and daily spraying for malaria, for tsetse fly, for other reasons. And you might have an issue where this whole northern population has sub-lethal doses and they're living with it, and it's starting to affect their health. That's never been kind of monitored, and the law enforcement officers are now becoming more aware to look out for this kind of thing, to draw attention to it.
Of my last question, the road from here. What do you aim now? What must happen from here? What is your dream? Let me rather ask it like that.
Well, the workshop was structured in such a way that we first of all tackled what we felt were the problems, and then the next section was our dream as to what we wanted to happen in the perfect world, having all these people together under one roof who are now kind of clearly want something to happen. So this is our dream. Then the second session was about our dream in a perfect world, and then the third section was to put each of these dream points, as it were, into categories where we could make the dream a reality, even splitting that particular dream up into attainable dreams. It's all very well having one big dream, no poisons in Namibia, but that's never going to work. So you had to say level something like that down to no poisons in a particular area, or less poison in a particular area. As I say, big dreams, shattering up into small attainable dreams, and then again putting somebody in place, somebody within the big group, and we had almost 40 delegates here, somebody within that group that was to put control measures in place to attain that dream.